Hello and welcome. This is Playing Favorites. I'm Paul.
And I am the Mahadib.
No, you're not. I'm Paul. I'm the one.
You
I'm
are
the one with like 6 names in this. Paul Muad'Dib. Gosh,
right.
the guy gets so many names in this series. It's crazy.
That's
But this is Playing Favorites, the podcast. Welcome.
Yes. I'm Justin. If you didn't know who that was, my name is Justin, not the Mahadib. But anyways,
You're not the Muad'Dib. You're not the Desert Mouse.
what's Playing Favorites? Tell everyone, Paul. What is it? What do we do here?
Playing Favorites is a podcast where we take a category and we try to find our favorite thing in that category and talk about it. But this episode's a little different than our usual episodes in that this is part 2 of our favorite films of the 80s. So if you haven't checked out part 1, make sure you do that. If you haven't seen our YouTube channel, make sure you like and subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. We have new things showing up every week. And also check us out on Anchor and wherever you get your podcasts from, because we like making stuff and we're really excited to be back in the groove of making this show and making more things. So
yes, it's been fun to talk again.
So as I said, it's part 2. We're covering the movies of 1985 up until 1989.
Mm-hmm.
And Justin,
yeah,
we have some things to talk about here.
Oh, we have lots of things. One thing I do want to bring up, though, about a YouTube channel in our podcast, we're releasing some bonus content that we released to our subscribers, Patreon subscribers and supporters from last year. We're going to be when this airs, we should have the Back to the Future episode. We talked about all the Back to the Future movies and why they're awesome and why we thought one movie was better than the others, and it really wasn't. So I would definitely go listen to that and check it out. I actually liked that conversation. We went. It was bonkers though. We jumped around a lot in that episode. It was like there's just so much trajectory and stuff. But
for me, it was a real education in Back to the Future, because it had always been kind of just like these movies are okay. Like, I'll check it out. But I was talking with a real Back to the Future expert here, so it was good.
I love
It
those
opened
movies.
my eyes
I love
to
those
the merits
movies.
of those movies. I didn't really ever notice. But
Another thing I want to bring up, though, we forgot to talk about before we started the show, is by the time this releases, we will have opened something that is a favorite of ours. It's been a favorite on an episode of ours. This is my favorite board game, called Hero Quest. They remade it. I'm getting it tomorrow. We won't talk about why I didn't get it today.
You were supposed to get it today, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
I heard it was supposed to arrive at your house today.
Yep.
But somebody didn't ask Zargon to open the door.
That's right. That didn't happen. That didn't happen.
There to do it.
But we'll get it tomorrow. We are unboxing it on Saturday. All of it. We're going to actually be together and doing this together. And we're going to make a video. So if you're ever interested in board games and stuff, we're going to have a cool unboxing. We've never done that before. So hopefully it works out. Hopefully it's good.
I think it'll be great either way. This is a game that I think a lot of people have been looking forward to. I mean, the remake for this, they've been publishing and showing updates through this whole process, and now it's like the culmination of how long ago was it? Was it last? When was it?
It was a year ago. Yeah, it was around.
It was like the Kickstarter or the GoFundMe for it.
Yeah, well, it's Hasbro's version of that. It's called Hasbro Pulse. Yeah, but yeah. And I've never done any of this stuff before, where you go fund a project. But I the second this was announced, I'm like, I have to do it. I went to Amber just to say, like, can I do a stupid purchase? I know she's like, this is not a stupid purchase. You know you want to get it. Go ahead. And I'm like, I'm getting so much stuff
for life. Living hell if you could not get it, it would be very important.
But I just wanted to throw that out there, since I'm not sure when we'll actually have this video released, but it is going to come probably sooner than later. And I'm excited it's going to happen. And I'm sure we'll talk about it more the next time we do a show. But
very excited for that.
That would have happened. So yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say this is these last like I mean this is gonna be a real banner a couple months here for Playing Favorites the podcast, because not only are we gonna be hanging out very soon to do this unboxing of the Hero Quest game, but also we just hung out recently and watched Dune together, the new Dune movie. That was kind of like on a whim. You were traveling east, and you were like, "Well, I could travel an hour and a half extra east, and maybe we could watch it." And that was awesome. We got to see it in IMAX, and it was visually stunning, like sound design amazing. What were your thoughts of Dune, Justin? Did you enjoy the ride?
Yes, I did. And just again, anyone that knows, we generally like to do like a little mini topic before the topic or main topic. This helped us warm up. I guess you can call it like a surprise topic or an extra topic or a special weekly, bi-weekly
or
topic.
What we've been doing lately.
Yeah, what we've been doing. Really what we've been up to. Why not? All I could do was think about it like for days after we watched it. Like it's weird because it's not like these one of these movies like, oh man, did you see that thing? And like, it's awesome and it's really cool and it's crazy and I can't believe that happened and it's so epic. I don't really get that kind of response, right? I mean, both of us know Dune, maybe different ways. But like, it was just amazing seeing Dune how it was supposed to be. And
yes, the first like really faithful adaptation of it with the backing of like a major studio, because I know you'll go to bat for the miniseries. Like, what was that, 2000? The miniseries came out.
Yep.
And that it was a lot more of the story because it was a miniseries, but it was limited in terms of budget, effects, all that stuff. Still tried to tell a good story. Did a pretty decent job of it. But this was, it was like a convergence of all those things, of like good casting, a studio behind it, so the production value is really high. It was. It almost felt like, good. I'm glad they did it right. Now I'm excited for Dune Part 2 because I feel like that's going to be a real make or break kind of movie if they're going to continue on with the franchise.
Yeah, like the thing about this though is like, it's obviously, this is like I feel like the beginning of true science, like big world building science fiction. Like, what didn't Dune come out before Star Trek, or like right around that time?
I don't know if it came out before or not.
Like the book, it was like the 60s.
But I know it's like early 70s. Is it?
It's like 65. It's like 65. Dune.
Then yeah, it would have.
I'm pretty sure the book came. Yep, I have it right here on my Dune facts or worm facts. Sand facts.
Worm facts. Shakalud facts.
I was right. 1965 novel.
Wow. Yeah, really years ahead of its time. A real hard sci-fi novel, like complete world building. Yeah,
and it's just it's like, a lot of elements of this filtered to other science fiction properties. I feel like too, like Star Wars. Sure. I think was completely influenced by this book, at least as far as like setting.
I don't think you can have Star Wars without this.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
And in terms of like world building, because Dune does a lot of what Star Wars does and just kind of tries to drop you in the middle of this already established universe. Yeah. That there's answers for all your questions, you just haven't asked them yet, kind of thing. So, I totally agree. I think Lucas probably watched Dune, or read Dune, excuse me, with a very keen eye, because I mean, like it's a very on the surface, it's kind of like a simple like hero story, but at the same time, it's very complex and nuanced and so otherworldly that it's so unique. Like, there's nothing like Dune, not really like in the same kind of scope and in the same kind of subject matter, because they talk about everything from religion down to space travel and the folding of space to make interstellar travel possible, but also how like the Bene Gesserit are planting the seeds of their religion on different planets, so that like if Jessica and Paul happen to crash land on a planet, it's like they're already waiting for them. It's crazy how
I mean, we could have like a whole part episode of talking about Dune, right? Like, you can go.
We sure could. But we've got some matters to attend to.
As far as the 2021 movie, which it's kind of I always, this is the question I have for you though. I mean, the movie's great. I'm not here to we're not here to spoil the movie. Go see. We highly recommend it seeing in theaters. I've watched it twice actually. Yeah. I know you haven't watched it again. I don't believe, right? You've only seen it in theaters.
I have not watched it on the small screen. I don't know if I'm ready to do that yet.
Both experiences are fine, but I really, truly don't think it wowed me. Like some shots that were just like, I don't know, just like there's a shot where it's just like the ship landing. You just see like the leg landing on the ground. It looked just so enormous. Like it just looked so cool. Like it's just a leg. It wasn't really that like insane. Like some of the shots were just like of the big world ships that had like ships coming out of the hole.
Yep, the transporter ships, right?
They just in theaters, like you can't replicate that on the small screen. It still look cool, but when you're at home and watch it widescreen, it has like the black bars, so it doesn't fill the screen like it did in the theater. But still was enjoyable. But yet again, I think the awness of it and just like the feel of it, because we talked about that, we hadn't been in the theaters in years because of COVID, but just the feeling of a movie in the theater is so different than
being the concussive blasts of sound and vibration shaking you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in that movie, man, that sound design is crazy. Mm-hmm. Just like the ships taking off and landing, and yeah, they did scale really well. Like all the ships in the Dune universe are huge, and it didn't feel like jarring or weird to see people getting on and off them and them landing. So yeah, I highly recommend, and as you said, like we recommend seeing it in theaters. It's cool to watch on the small screen, sure, but. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
If you want the real experience, you need to see it in the theater.
I'm just excited. This is the question I want to ask you, though. Like, I wonder how well this would have done in a normal release. Like, if it wasn't post-pandemic and people are... everyone's rushing back to the theater now.
Yeah.
Granted, they're not getting the numbers that would have happened 2 years ago.
Sure. But people are coming back to theaters, feeling a little bit more secure as people get back.
I'd be curious if it would have been as well received as I'm hearing it. It seems to be doing extremely well. I mean, for Warner Brothers too, because I'm wondering if it being on HBO Max is helping it, because it seems, you know what I mean?
Could be. It could be giving people. I mean, I think it's. You know what? You also had the director there, Dennis. I don't know how to say his last name.
Villanueva, yeah. Something. I don't know how to say it.
he has said it a few times in media outlets that he encouraged people. You got to see it in theaters. Like it's a movie meant for the theater. Like you'll enjoy it at home, I'm sure, but you don't really feel the full experience unless you see it.
He's the first one where it made sense. Like a lot of the directors were over the summer and stuff were saying you should see.
Well, yeah, they're trying it. Yeah, like, you got to see it in theaters. And it's like this one, you knew you wanted to. I would, if I was to venture a guess, I'd say it would probably be like a B minus normal release times, because the market would be saturated with other big competitors. And I'm sure like Marvel and even James Bond would be trying to compete with Dune. But it feels like big movies that are coming out now into theaters are just getting. It's like one at a time. It almost feels like it's like one big movie and like 8 other medium-sized movies that nobody really.
Bond didn't do that good from what I saw. Like I did not do well.
I heard it was okay. I heard it was like a fine. Like
well, the movie. I'm just saying like. Box office numbers, like it's like
sure.
But Dune at least is getting a sequel because that was never confirmed, even though they did call it part 1. I mean, I think it just makes me happy. Hopefully, it continues to do well, and we get more. But highly recommend it. It was great seeing a movie with you. Hopefully, we do it again soon. It
was fun. I hope it won't be for Dune 2. I hope it'll be sooner than that.
No, we gotta. I think we were thinking Matrix 4, but we'll see. We'll see if that happens. I do want to see that in theaters.
I want to see Neil Patrick Harris in his blue glasses.
I do. Lately, one thing I'll say before we transition to topic of the show, and talk about some movies that we didn't see in theaters, probably.
Hell no. Well, no, technically one of these we did. Both of us together saw it in theaters, actually.
You're right. You are right. It definitely
right.
didn't happen in the 80s, though. That is very true.
No, it did not. No, it did not.
That was an amazing. But we'll talk about that. What I was going to say, I kind of want to see Internals in theaters now. I've been reading reviews, and people are saying it's a really cinema, it's a really different Marvel movie that's like very beautiful to see on theaters. Like, I guess like the ending is sort of mixed as far as like story goes, but like as far as just like filmmaking and visuals, it's like a really, really awesome looking movie. Like, and I just like been really intrigued by the Internals for some odd reason, because it just seems so out of the box Marvel. It doesn't seem like that normal cookie cutter MCU
origin movie.
You know, like I probably won't. If anything, we have like a what they call it. We call it the Dollar Theater around here. Yes. I might go see it in that, but like, yeah, I'm definitely itching to go more movie going, because it's funny because like I didn't go see maybe a handful of movies, maybe 2 movies a year before COVID, but now I'm just like, man, I really miss this.
I know. I'm telling you, seeing Dune, like, it made me realize what I missed the most about seeing a movie in theater. And we were in a packed theater too. Like we had no like elbow room really. We had, I think there was like one seat between, like on one side.
I got a buffer. They moved over for me.
That's funny, you did. And I was like, nobody will choose this one seat between. Because I got us 2 seats, and then there was 2 seats, and then 1 seat in between. And I was like, nobody will get that 1 seat in between. And then this dude with like 2 arms worth of food comes and sits in there. He had nachos, popcorn, and he had Raisinets too. And like I was telling Kristen, because it made me laugh so hard later on, was like during a very like critical moment when like Paul and Jessica are arguing. All of a sudden, the sound of Raisinets, the unmistakable sound of like Raisinets falling out of a box into his hand. It's like, this is what drives me crazy about going to a movie. But at the same time, I was like, this is a practically a new experience for me. I love it.
Yeah, I'm spoiled. Whenever I go, I don't generally go to IMAX. It's too much. So usually when I go to theaters, it was always like the reclining seats and the leather seats and stuff. Like,
oh yeah, this was like the most uncomfortable IMAX theater.
Oh, that was the worst thing about it. I was like, I felt I was like my neck was hurting. I'm just like, oh man, but this movie's so good, but I just hurt. Like, I'm doing it for the movie. I'm doing it for Paul. Not the one in the movie. The one next. Anyways.
All right, Justin. I think I feel suitably warmed up. How about you? How are your vocal cords?
Do you want me to do you want me to do I don't know, what's it called, a scale for you? Like, I don't know.
Yes, do some vocal warm ups.
I'll use the voice.
Wow.
I'll use the voice.
Yes, that was pretty cool. They did that right.
We'll go to a break. Can't do it.
Somehow, listeners, I feel compelled to go to a break right now.
And welcome back to the 80s.
Back to the 80s.
We should do a montage. No, I'm like, anyways.
Well, Justin, since we're in 1985, this isn't a favorite of mine, but it's my favorite of this series.
Okay.
I'm going to bring it up right now. You mentioned montage. The ultimate montage movie is Rocky IV. Rocky defeats Soviet Russia in a boxing ring.
See, here's the thing. Like, going through this half of the decade, though sadly it doesn't have Star Wars movies, at least of any note, because there were Star Wars movies that come out in this part of the decade. Ewok movies, but anyways.
I'm like, what? What's he talking about?
Like, there's so many movies in this like era, because this is like when we were like, I don't know, becoming sentient.
Or 2 years old. Yes, we're awakening. Yes,
But
we're awakening.
we, by the time we're like 5, like these 1985 movies were probably in our parents' closet on VHS or it. If anything,
Being played on TNT.
Yep, or USA. Very good. Or here's the thing: like you would see this in the video rental store, like when you go through Wikipedia, if you roll over the movies, it shows the box art. I'm like, I've never watched this movie, but I remember that picture. I remember that picture. I remember that picture. Yep.
Like the one for Peggy Sue Got Married during this part of the decade. I'm like, I remember the name of this movie and that box cover, like that box art.
Yep.
See, but yes, I just have. Go ahead.
For me, it's like all the horror movies that came out this time, because I would go in the horror movie section a lot, like later in life. And
coolest box art too.
Yeah, definitely. So like I roll over, I'm like, I just accidentally rolled over one. It was like this is like later decade, but like this is a movie called House, and it's like his hand was like opening a door. I've never seen this movie. Yep. Don't know what it is. I remember that. But I just know the box art.
In the research for this, that's what I remember. I was like, what the hell is House? It can't be a movie based on that Doctor series. I was like, is it? Could it be like this is a character that's been around for a while? Like, no. And then that weird image. I was like, okay.
Yep.
But I just got to say, like, Rocky IV was my favorite Rocky movie because it was the first Rocky movie I ever saw. We had it on VHS.
Same here.
And I would just watch it. I would just put it on and watch it. And just in different parts. And I love that movie, except for the part that Apollo Creed, spoilers, Apollo Creed gets killed in the ring by Ivan Drago in the first boxing match of the game. But it has the robot that Sylvester Stallone.
You are like reading, like as you're saying. I'm like, you didn't bring up the robot yet. Like, you're reading my mind.
Oh, I'm sorry. This movie. I have this movie basically.
But no, like if I went first in this conversation, I would say the exact same things you're saying. Like, this is something on VHS. I watched it all the time. It was sad that Apollo Creed does the robot.
Happy birthday, Polly. Like, all I want is someone to leave me a voicemail on my birthday that just goes, happy birthday, Polly. Like that. With smoke coming out.
I need to write a reminder on my Google.
But that, yes, the robot, the amazing montage later on, because it's all about getting back to basics. That's what the movie's about. It's about Rocky getting back to training in a way that gets rid of all the frills, because his best friend has been killed in the ring. He's going to fight the killer, Ivan Drago. This Russian boxer who's roided up and, in the state of the art Soviet training facility. And they would match cut him with Rocky chopping wood, climbing a mountain, and then pulling a sleigh.
The American way.
Yes. But he was training in Russia. And I don't know why he was like, yeah, we're going to fight Ivan Drago. It's going to be on Christmas Day in Russia. Like, okay. All right, sure.
No, I jotted on my list. Here's the thing: we got to be careful because there's too many movies we could go on a tangent on. We really got to be careful on this.
I know. Okay, I'm sorry. This is where this movie. I learned the Russian national anthem from watching this movie. I don't know what the words are, but I can mouth them because they play it right before the last fight.
Is it the Soviet Union thing, or is it the?
Yes, it is, but I think it's still the same tune. Maybe the words have been changed. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe,
but it is the same thing. It is basically the same thing. The Soviet national anthem. Anyways, So yeah, Rocky IV. I tip my hat to you.
Seriously.
What about you? What movies from this year do you recall fondly, or if you'd like to tell me what your favorite is off the bat?
I'm like, this is like tough because I'm like, I don't have like any, like when I go through this part of the decade, like for a couple years, there's not one that like jumps out because I'm like struggling with nostalgia of like, wow, I watched that movie like a ton. Like, I love that movie as a kid. Like, Rocky would be one of those. Or another one would be, like, Teen Wolf. I was obsessed with freaking Teen Wolf. Like, as a kid.
Big year for Michael J. Fox.
Exactly. But thinking of it, so then I'm gonna just say like I watched the Care Bears movie like a ton, which supposedly had Mickey Rourke. I don't know. I didn't know this until I looked into this.
No, was it Mickey Rourke or Mickey Rooney?
Mickey Rooney.
I think
Mickey Rooney.
I saw that too, and I did a double take too. I was like, who? Like, really, Mickey Rooney?
So
okay,
we kind of dive right in before we get into my favorite here. Let's just talk about the year of 1985.
Okay.
Let's discuss.
What's
so
going on?
we're gonna give like what the box office said were good movies back then. Okay. Mm-hmm. So starting at number 10, we had Spies Like Us. I have no clue what that is. Number 9.
It's a Chevy Chase movie, I think.
Is it?
Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I kept thinking this was going to be funny, but it's not that good. But it is directed by John Landis.
Anyways,
yep.
We have the Goonies. I think most people know what the Goonies is. And
I've never seen it.
Are you serious?
I'm serious, Justin. I've only seen bits and pieces on the television.
I've never watched.
You've
never watched the Goonies?
I knew this was going to happen. I've never watched it. Oh no! Now my secret's out.
Oh my god! I don't know what to say.
Can I still be on the show?
Oh my god! I'm a little in shock right now. This is it's like one of those movies that I feel like everyone as a kid watched, and
I saw some of it. Okay, I saw like a lot of it. Maybe.
I feel like it's hard to go back now. Like, I don't know if you can do it. Like, it's still a good movie.
I know what happens. Like I've seen a bunch of it. There's a pirate's treasure, and they get it in the end. And there's that old lady and her 2 sons that are the bad guys.
It's the actress from Don't Throw Your Grandma Off the Train or something like that. It's the same actress.
I believe you're thinking of Throw Mama from the Train.
Yeah, Throw Mama from the Train. That's
Don't
what it's.
Throw Your Grandma from the Train. I like that movie better. That was like the sequel. Don't throw your mama from the train.
But like, okay, so I'm in shock.
I'm just picturing you're holding the collar of your mom and your grandma, and you're wondering which one to throw. And it's like, throw your mama, not your grandma.
We're gonna get back to the Goonies and have this. We're gonna have a what do they call that? Intervention.
Am I gonna have a stern talking to?
So that was number 9. So The Witness with I guess Harrison Ford.
Yep.
He wasn't the
Amish boy.
He wasn't the fugitive in this one. He was the witness.
No, the little Amish boy is the witness. I only know this because of the previews on other videos.
Okay.
It was just a preview, like coming soon to home video.
I'm gonna blast through this because we were spending a lot of time in 1985.
Keep going.
The Jewel of the Nile. I've actually watched that with my parents. I said Cocoon.
That's a funny one, isn't it?
Yeah, Cocoon. That's a good movie. I remember my mom's like, you should watch this movie. You like sci-fi. Out of Africa, The Color Purple, Rocky 4 is number 3. If we've lost count, I've just go back to Rocky 4, not Rocky. Is number 3. And seriously, like, what's his name? Sylvester Stallone. He had a really good 1985. He's Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Yes.
And then of course Back to the Future, which really dominated the box office that year. That one made what, 210, almost $211 million, and then number 2 was 150 million. So it's like
60 million more than its closest competitor.
So the 2 that I would pick from are in this list, and one I want to like pick it just because you've never seen it.
Are you gonna make me? Is this gonna convince me if you pick it now?
No, I think
maybe.
What is your favorite, Paul? Because I have to.
I gotta say, like 85 is a really good year for some offbeat movies. Clue comes out this year,
definitely.
which I know you're a big fan of,
I
and
love
I love that movie too. Reanimator is also like a classic horror movie from 85.
Yeah, I don't see that. I've never seen that one.
It's the one based on I forget it's a Lovecraft story. It's like a zombie, like a dude brings back something from the dead. It's like a kind of a zombie movie, but it's good. It's a fun movie. Reanimator. Red Sonja with Brigitte Nielsen and Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is like a Conan movie. basically, but it was based on Brigitte Nielsen. It's all the same story beats as Conan the Barbarian, though. It's good. It's fun. Pee-wee's Big Adventure this year too.
I saw that on there. I was gonna jot that down, but I was writing too many things down, so I just took that off.
It's been a long time since I've seen that. Legend as well with Tim Curry and Tom Cruise. But the two movies that I really was caught between, the one that I didn't choose as my favorite was Return of the Living Dead. And that's like when the Night of the Living Dead series splits and George Romero takes the more serious zombie movies. And I forget the other guy starts making campy zombie movies. And this one is the first campy one.
Okay.
It's the one where zombies can talk.
Okay.
So much so that they grab a CB radio and say, "Send more cops," like out of a cop car, like to get more people to come. But it's a fun movie. Scared the hell out of me, but was also very silly. But the movie, it's Akira Kurosawa's Ron.
I saw that. I had a feeling you were going to pick that one, and I feel
it's
like
one I'll come back to. No, I'll come back to it every now and then and watch it. It's the story of King Lear, like, you know, this king tries to split up his kingdom before he's dead to try to like enjoy the inheritance he's going to give it, but it actually causes his sons to fight each other and leads to ultimately his own death. But it's so beautiful to look at. Mm-hmm. It's long. That's the thing. You got to really be like in the mood to watch something like that. But it's beautifully shot. The music's great. Some of the scenes are just amazing. Like the sieging, like the siege of the Emperor's castle in the beginning of the movie is just stunning and really cool stuff. Really cool. Like,
you got me to watch this movie. I watched it with you.
You did
at our friend's house in the basement.
Yes, and the one person we were trying to get to watch that movie kept falling asleep, and there was like 2 attempts to watch this movie with him, and he fell asleep through both.
I loved it. I just haven't watched it enough to speak on it. Like, it's like I remember it being any Kurosawa movie is going to be visually amazing, and that's really that struck me. Like the story, I mean, it's okay from what I remember. But
it's pretty straightforward. It's nothing. Yeah,
but visually, you're right. It's all about the visuals, and that's tough because I mean that probably is the better movie out of this list, out of all. But
yes, it's more cinema, if you know what I'm saying.
It's more cinema.
But what about? Oh, go ahead.
That wouldn't have came to the States probably in the '85, right? That probably would have came a lot later, right?
I don't know how much later. I don't think that much later. I think it came out within a year because it was backed by a lot of American studios. Like it was a Kurosawa. It was a Japanese movie, but was given international release like right away. Mm-hmm. Because I remember it's like Scorsese and some other big shot Hollywood people were behind it and got it to get here pretty quickly. This was like the one that hit the mainstream, I think, of before Dreams. So
okay.
But anyways, yeah, good flick.
Definitely good flick. For me, it's between Back to the Future and the Goonies. We already talked at the beginning of the show. I love Back to the Future, but honestly, the original one has never always been my favorite. It's probably the better made film out of all 3 of them. Sure. But it's like it's not my favorite Back to the Future for whatever reason. Like, and you want to learn why? Go watch our bonus episode on YouTube and on podcast services around the globe.
And you managed to convince me why your chosen one was why you think it was the better one. It was a very compelling argument, I must say.
I'm glad that you agree. But now let's talk about Goonies, Paul. Let's talk about Goonies here. Well, I just give me.
I feel like I'm going to be taking a test that I didn't study.
Well, I'm just curious. Like, is this something that just never came in front?
It just never happened.
Never happened.
It just never happened. I don't know. It was like nobody ever got it and said like, here, let's watch the Goonies. It was I knew it existed and I caught it like a good deal of it on television a couple times, but it just because I never watched it from the beginning, I wasn't really as invested in the story. But I know it's like a kind of like ensemble cast kind of thing. Like there's
a lot of big name people in the guy. You got Sean Astin in there, playing the main character.
There's like older characters too with the kids, not just like kids.
Yeah, well,
Right?
the other actor that's big is there's the guy from Temple of Doom, the kid from that.
Yes.
You got
the Asian stereotype. Yes.
Oh, who was that child actor that was in all the movies back in the 80s? Corey
Feldman?
Yes, he was in it.
Feldman. Yeah,
he played Mouth. They all had because it's like a Spielberg. It's a Spielberg movie, and they all had like a gang, and they call themselves the Goonies. But the beauty of that film is that it starts this movie as if like they're already the Goonies, and they've had millions of adventures, and you have no idea what they are. It's like, and it's just like, and this is like their last adventure because they're being kicked out of their house because this company is buying out people's homes and putting them into foreclosure so they can make a shopping mall.
Okay.
Yeah, like
I didn't know about the subplot. No.
Yeah, like that's the whole backstory of this thing.
Why they need the pirate treasure?
Yeah, that's why they need the pirate. Of course.
Blind Willie's pirate treasure.
Yeah, you know more than I thought. Good job. I am proud.
Okay, I'm trying. I feel like I'm sweating under the. I'm taking.
But it's like I don't know what's great about that film. It's like a little kid's adventure that you can see yourself as a child doing. Like I can see myself doing all these things, and it's like an amusement ride. Almost, like because they find this the treasure map in their attic, and they realize, oh, this is a treasure chest. Like, hey, and then the son, the kid that finds it, it's in his attic. He's like, let's do this as our last thing as Goonies. Let's go on this adventure because I know where that is. Let's go here. And they stumble upon finding this entryway to the treasure, but in the meantime, it just happens that the hideout happens to be a bunch of robbers. And that's where those characters come into play.
They're not trying to find the treasure initially.
No, they're just trying to. They're just there, like hiding out because they just like the mother gets the two sons out of prison, and they had just recently escaped prison. So yeah, like that's like the gist. And then these kids stumble on this family of like murderers and robbers and bank robbers, and they're just being hunted down by them because they through things that happen through things that happen they figure out there is a treasure. They find out, and they start chasing the treasure because of it. But like it just, I don't know, it's just like when they start going on the adventure, and then there's other, like the older brother kind of stumbles on them and joins the adventure, and like it's just like there's like it's just like when you watch it as a child, it's like it's all those little things that you kind of wish could happen in real life, because it's not like extreme. It's not like going to space. It's not like that kind of a fantasy.
No,
right?
It's a very like small scale adventure, but it's still like a wild adventure for kids. Yeah. Like our true caper. You know, like
the ending is great when they start figuring. It's like a movie that we'll probably talk later in this decade, but it's like. It's that thing where they go through these trials to get to the treasure. They have to answer questions or avoid traps or go down water slides just to get to the ship, which is an awesome shot, by the way. And then, of course, you have an amazing quotes from the movie as well, because you have like this is the part of the movie that like just makes it unique. Is this like weird mutant brother that the Fugitives has? Sloth. Right. And like the endearingness of friendship made between him and one of the kids.
Chunk.
Exactly. You got it. Yeah. Good job.
Because he gave him a payday, right? Or a Baby Ruth. Payday.
Is a payday, I believe.
Payday.
No, it was Baby Ruth. It was Baby Ruth.
Baby Ruth. Okay.
Yeah, because he's like, Baby Ruth, like that. Like that's what he says.
Oh, okay.
But no, it's just a weird movie and just a fun movie, and they've talked about making a sequel for ages and decades.
Oh,
like
they made a sequel for the NES game.
I know.
Goonies Never Say Die.
Man, you know way more about this movie than you let on.
I'm pretty sure that line is wrong. I don't. It's die,
it's right? Goonies Never Say Die.
Never say don't. Okay.
I thought you said death initially.
I did. I did. I was
but
purposely.
But I don't know how it would work for you if you watched it now. I think it's a great movie still. I think it's fun. It's definitely a fun movie to watch maybe with your kids maybe. But I remember my brother Tyler loved this movie because obviously I showed it to him, and I early on in his relationship with his now wife, because he got married, she had never seen Goonies. And we finally, I'm like, I reacted the same way I just reacted with you, and so I forced her to watch it. We watched it together, and she loved it. She thought it was great. So it's a good movie. But I know we spend
whatever her reaction was, she's like looking at you like, yes, this is excellent. This is good. Thank you.
But that's all I have to say because we just spent 20 minutes on 1 year, so we're gonna keep it going.
1986, nothing good. Let's move on. All right, Justin. Let's talk about 1986.
I don't have a lot to talk about, so go for it.
Okay. There's two movies I think that are notable from this time. I mean, you've got Three Amigos and Ferris Bueller, which are great, funny films. Transformers movie, Big Trouble in Little China. All good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the better version of the movie Red Dragon, called Manhunter, came out this year, which is actually a decent flick. It's technically the first Hannibal Lecter film, and it has Brian Cox playing the captain from Super Troopers. You know that guy, Brian Cox. He's also on that show Succession, which is so popular right now.
He's also, you know who else? He was also in X-Men 2.
That's right. He's William Stryker in X-Men 2.
Yep.
What else? It's just going to be the Brian Cox hour. But in that year, I would have to say, well, let's go through what were the things that came out. Like what movies came out. So, number one in the box office is Top Gun, 1986. After that, Crocodile Dundee at number 2. Platoon, The Karate Kid Part 2, Star Trek 4, The Voyage Home, Back to School, Aliens, an excellent film. The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy, another excellent film. Ruthless People and Ferris Bueller's Day Off. But out of these movies, my favorite isn't in this list. It happens to be a tie between The Fly with Jeff Goldblum.
That is a good movie.
We never talk about David Cronenberg movies on this show. We should.
I don't even know.
But it's a perfect example of body horror with what do they call it? Goldblum Fly, or I forgot what he calls himself in the Brundle Fly. That's when because his name is Brundle, and it's like the two things combined.
Oh, I watched that movie once, and it was. I mean, I thought it was cool. Like I thought it was neat, but I don't really have any kind of affiliation with it. Really, I mean, it's not like a. It's
really crazy. It's a good horror movie in the sense that it's just like shocking and all body related, like him slowly degenerating into like a fly creature. It's amazing to watch. But yeah, Gina Davis is in it. She gives birth to a maggot baby. In a nightmare, which always gave me nightmares.
Yep.
Gave me many nightmares. But yeah, that's what Cronenberg movies do. They make you.
So, but that's not your favorite, right? That's just one of your.
No, I have to say it's Laputa. I know it. I'm not.
Castle Sky.
Came in the United States, but this is the chance I get to say that Laputa is like one of my favorites because it was your favorite when we did the studio show.
I skipped that on purpose because I'm just like, well, we've talked so much about Miyazaki.
Yep. I don't have anything else to say about it except that it's a beautiful film and the animation's amazing.
I'm glad you came around on that movie because I know initially you were like you weren't as high on it.
I was like, yeah, but it's because I hadn't seen it in so long, and then I actually watched it again. I'm like, holy moly, this movie it's got it all. It's a great flick. But yeah, the animation and the mom and her gang of sons are awesome.
So good. And the dub version is actually really good for that as well.
Yeah,
they got a really good
James
cast.
Van Der Beek.
But go watch your favorite Studio Ghibli film if you want to hear a lot more of me talk on that. So 86, I didn't have a lot listed down. I do Star Trek 4 Voyage Home though. I do want to give a huge shout out because that's like one of my favorite Star Trek movies because it was so out of the box, so weird. It's like that's all I want to say.
Which one is this one? Is this the one with whales?
Yeah, let me go back in time.
This is also Kristen's favorite. This is my wife's favorite.
It's so weird. It's just like I just thought it was so different. It wasn't like your normal like, let's go to a planet and fight some Klingons. It was like we got to go find some whales.
Yes, and I have not watched it, and I'm sure Kristen is going to get me to watch it at some point here. But all I remember is the line her and her parents would say to each other, "There be whales," like, or whatever like, Scotty says.
I mean, this is like this is like probably my favorite, like in the Kirk era. Like I really like some of the later ones, like First Contact and stuff like that. But like, yeah, like Star Trek 4, I've always loved for some odd reason. Furious Fields Day Off is a good movie. You mentioned Transformers with Orson Welles. I just want to throw his name out there. Short Circuit also came out in '86. Throw that out there too. But honestly, like I didn't have a lot that rung true except for this one movie. Because this is honestly was a really great movie, even though it's animated and it's probably more nostalgia than anything. But An American Tail.
Oh, Fievel.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Like,
the first Fievel movie. Yep.
Honestly, like it was like that first animated movie that wasn't like Disney, and like I rewatched that recently. I showed the kids a few years back that movie, and it still holds up, and it's a good story. I mean, yeah, it's like animated, kind of dated, but like you had some really good actors in there. You got I think it was John Good Candy that played the cat.
Oh, the cat guy. Yes. I do remember that voice, like his silly voice.
And then I think Dane, or no, is that? No, that's not John Candy. That's it's Don. What's his name? He's in Spaceballs.
Don DeLuise.
Don DeLuise. That's him.
Oh,
never mind. Not John Candy. I don't know why I got John Candy.
Funny large man.
Yes. But no,
that was a kind of character in the '80s. Large, funny man.
Nope. But I of all the movies, that's probably the one that I like stands out. Like that's me skipping Laputa, and because I don't really associate that with the '80s because I mean I watched it so much later. But like, that's it. I don't have a lot to say about it. It's just honestly is a really well good story of talking about immigration for children. Yep. Like it shows like the scariness of it, and it's just got a nice, unique story to it. That's all I have to say. Don't want to talk too much about it. I'm going to check
that out again. I wonder. I think that might be good to watch with the kids or something.
There's some scary parts towards the end, sort of, but like because they make that the legendary like monster Mouse-Skowitz thing. They make a big robot that attacks the cats.
Oh. Okay.
I don't know if you remember this at all.
No, I know. It's been so long since I've seen those. No. And honestly, the first one I saw was the second one, Fievel Goes West.
that one's probably my favorite of mine was that one. But
okay.
Oddly enough, though, fun fact, this might deter you from watching it. One of the credits on there, and I was like, really like, oh, interesting, was Kathleen Kennedy. I was like, wow, she goes way back, doesn't she?
Yeah, who's been around? That's not really. I don't really care. I think she does fine work, actually, Kathleen Kennedy.
Okay, cool.
I don't. I mean, okay. Look, how many films has she worked on in her career?
Yeah.
And if a couple of them are stinkers, so what? She's done way more than most people have. So who cares? Who cares what other people think?
I'm glad that you say that, Paul. Thank you for saying that.
Thank you.
I need to pull up your webcam because I'm looking at Wikipedia. There we go.
Oh, hello.
All right, what's
still here?
87. Let's get to it.
Great year. Evil Dead 2 came out this year. It's a good flick. Didn't see it in '87. First Coen Brothers movie, though, Raising Arizona, comes out.
That was a Coen. I didn't know that was a Coen Brothers. Didn't that Nick Cage? Nick Cage?
Yeah, Nick Cage. Yep. But the highest grossing films of this year aren't. I don't think are neither one of. Well, one of them is actually my favorite on here, so I'll just say them. So the highest grossing movie is Three Men and a Baby. That's Tom Selleck, Steve Guttenberg, and some other dude.
I did love this movie, to be quite honest.
Oh, I only saw its sequel, Three Men and a Little Lady, and I saw it in theaters at the Stanley Theater in Utica.
These are the movies that even my mom was into. Like a lot of these, like going through the list, were like, I watched this with my mom. I watched this with my mom. I watched this with my mom.
Well, the other one's Fatal Attraction #2, Beverly Hills Cop 2, Good Morning Vietnam, which is I know a favorite of people. Some people really like that movie.
Some people.
People. Moonstruck, The Untouchables with Kevin Costner, The Secret of My Success, Stakeout, Lethal Weapon, the first one, and The Witches of Eastwick, which is actually a pretty decent movie.
I remember watching that once.
But my favorite from this time is The Untouchables. It's a fun period drama. It's like you don't. All right, it's really because of a story, like of why this movie is funny to me and still like relevant. It's dated, but it's like a prohibition movie, and Kevin Costner is Elliot Ness and trying to take down Al Capone, played by Robert De Niro. But the movie is notable because one of the main characters, one of the Untouchables, one of Kevin Costner's crew, is murdered in an elevator. Like he gets caught in an elevator with some bad guys and with De Niro's people. And when the elevator opens and Costner and his partners are there, the elevator opens and there's their dead partner. And written on the wall in blood is the word touchable. You know, because his crew was called the Untouchables, and they said touchable. Now, fast forward with me to like 2004, when I'm living with some guys and our friend Greg, our mutual friend Greg.
Yes.
Greg had a shitty plant, okay? This big plant, this big tree plant that was dying for weeks, and he wouldn't get rid of it. So one day, our other roommate, Joe, lifted the plant, went to the elevator. We lived on the 10th floor of this dormitory, and tossed it into the elevator and just went, done, and went away. And later on, Greg came home, and we were getting ready to go down to dinner. And Greg kind of mentioned, did you see my plant anywhere? I haven't seen it. We're waiting at the elevator. Elevator opens. There is his plant. It is as if somebody wrote touchable in blood on the wall, because it was just like all dirt everywhere. The plant like destroyed, like all like the pot is cracked. It's just like somebody had murdered this plant. And he just went, oh, my plant! It was a fern, and he named it Vern. Vern the Fern. So rest in peace, Vern the Fern. You were touchable.
I love how you just got to this movie. It just has nothing to do with the movie. It's just
no, movie's all right. Full Metal Jacket came out this year, and that's an excellent movie. So I'm going to say that's my
you're
favorite.
you're probably saving one of these movies. You're probably saving one of these movies for me to say, aren't you?
Well, no.
80's had a lot of good movies. I'm surprised you skipped a bunch of them. I'm surprised. I'm surprised you didn't say some other ones.
What else is on? Remind me. Maybe I was looking at a different part of 87. I was looking at the spring and the fall.
I'm surprised Evil Dead 2 is not your favorite. I don't understand why that's not your favorite.
Actually, it's Full Metal Jacket. That's my favorite.
Is it really?
Stanley Kubrick.
Okay.
About Vietnam. Really
well, there's a lot of movies. I mean, you said Evil Dead 2. There's a bunch of like nostalgia things in here, like the Brave Little Toaster. I just want to throw that one out there.
Oh, I love that movie.
Yeah,
it's long, and a lot of it is like, but it was like an animated movie that caught me at the right age.
I just loved it. The Chipmunk Adventures came out this year, and then Adventures in Babysitting. Do you remember that movie?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah.
Yes. But I was thinking about the ending of that movie the other day. That's weird.
As far as like good movies go, you had like Batteries Not Included. That's a great one. RoboCop. I'm going to throw that out there too. That's a great first movie there.
That's crazy. Movie,
so many ones to throw. Predator came out this year.
Yep.
Like I just want to list them off. I don't want to talk about. I do want to throw this one because this is like this is a mom one. This is like I saw this on VHS, and for some reason I watch this all the freaking time. But definitely with my mom's recording it. It's called Mannequin. Have you heard of Mannequin?
Oh my god, yes, and Mannequin too. Yes, This is a mom's movie. I'm 10 years old and I'm watching a movie with mom.
Yep. I used to watch it by myself because I just always thought it was funny. I don't know why. Because it had like I think it had the actor from Police Academy in it. That was
Gutenberg?
Chief. No, the Chief.
Oh, no.
He was like the security guard.
Like, yes, I think you're right. Yeah. I remember that.
Anyways, my favorite though. There's two here. This is a tough pick.
I think one we kind of share.
We share this one. But the other one, oh man, this is hard. You don't know what the other one is, do you?
Well, I don't think it's Predator.
No.
I don't think it's the one that we share. So
no.
I don't know. Is it 3 Men and a Baby?
No. Spaceballs is the one we share.
Yes.
Yes, Spaceballs is a great movie. And I don't need to explain how great Spaceballs is. And the fact that they're making... Mel Brooks is great. Let's just put it that way.
Yes.
And
we saw Spaceballs in theaters together.
Yes, and that was an amazing experience.
Yeah, many years later after the movie was released.
Not as good as Spaceballs, a drinking game.
No, that's very
but
good.
It was great getting it with like an audience of laughter. That was
mm-hmm. All the jokes
things that you never laugh at by yourself. Like,
sure.
Like it was just like that little bumper sticker. Like I've never laughed at that. Whatever. No, it's like it's like we break for Uranus.
Oh, on the Eagle One or whatever.
Yeah.
The name of the Winnebago.
Amazing movie. But the other one's The Princess Bride.
Oh, wow! This was 87.
Yes, it was.
Holy moly! Yeah, that's a fun movie.
I love Princess
Bride. Would be one I think I would watch with at least my son. I think he would get a kick out of seeing that. There's not too much scary stuff in that movie.
No, the torture thing's kind of disturbing. But other than that,
I guess. I like when Billy Crystal brings him back to life using a bellows. Like,
oh god, such a good movie. But yeah,
like,
Princess Bride has so many obviously quotable things in it. Like, oh man, I used to watch that movie all the freaking time. I love that movie.
I love that Columbo is in it. He's telling the story. He's the one reading the book.
Yeah, but then that's Fred Savage. Yep, and they got Andre the Giant in there.
Yep.
I don't really know the other actors too much though.
Mandy Patinkin is the one who plays. Hello, my name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die. So he's in other things, I guess, but that's his best role. Mandy Patinkin and Carrie Elway is the what's his name? Dread Pirate Robin, and also Wesley.
Yeah, Wesley.
But the female lead, the actual Princess Bride, I don't know what else she's been in.
I don't know.
I don't even know her name. But like we said, Billy Crystal's in it. I forget who his wife is in there, but she's also really funny.
Yeah, she was a big comedian back in the 80s too. Uh-huh. And I can't remember, but yeah, like I feel like Spaceballs and Bitch's Bride were two big movies I rewatched a lot.
Yes. And
Spaceballs, to add to this, the other thing, everyone knows me as a huge Star Wars fan. I mean, my Twitter handle is the Star Wars. I mean, that's my. I have a Star Wars shirt on right now. Yes. I had no idea what Star Wars was in the 80s. All I knew was Spaceballs. Mm-hmm. All I knew was that Spaceballs was not a comedy, but yet a good movie about people that were in space.
You, like me, we're taking Spaceballs a little too seriously when we first saw it. We're like,
I'm like, oh, they got to get the air back. They got to save Princess Vespa.
Like the stakes were really high for us.
It's like
anybody else watching. It's like,
man,
that's a Mel movie.
I can't believe that was such a good idea. They used stunt doubles. I would never have thought of that.
You idiot! This is not them. Such a silly movie. Oh my gosh! I have an idea. Let's find out where they are by looking at Spaceballs the movie. They find Spaceballs the movie. Put it in instant home video. They call that streaming now.
We haven't found shit. Anyways, moving on. We could quote that movie all day long. We have a couple more years to do. We're rushing through this.
Okay, let's go. 1988.
I don't have a lot to talk about here, so I'll do the rundown though. I'm gonna do the rundown though.
Go ahead, you do the rundown, please.
All right, a movie I've never seen is number 1, Rain Man.
Never seen Rain Man.
No, never saw Rain Man. Everyone was obsessed with that movie. You know what? I might have watched it,
really?
But then
I was obsessed with this movie.
I just remember it was a huge movie. It was everyone talked about it at this time. I remember like everyone. It was like something that I just would see a lot of. Like it probably. I think my depiction of what a big movie was is how many available rentals there were at the rental store.
3 or more, blockbuster.
Yeah,
That's a blockbuster movie right there.
So yeah, you got Rain Man, you got Who Framed Roger Rabbit, Coming to America, Crocodile.
Such a good way to measure success. How many copies of it were available at the rental store?
But that's a true statement, right?
It really is. And when like all 4 of them, there's nothing but the box art, and there's no videos behind them, you're like, well, crap. I guess we're gonna get the number 2 movie on this list.
I'm just gonna rerun one movie I rented last time.
Go ahead.
Rain Man number 1, Who Framed Roger Rabbit number 2, Coming to America. I mean, the fact that like Rain Man beat Who Framed Roger Rabbit kind of explains what I'm saying, though. Mm-hmm. Like, you feel like that Who Framed Roger Rabbit would have been a bigger blockbuster hit. Like, as far as like everyone needs to go see this awesome new technology movie made by Disney World. Or Disney.
It still holds up, dude. I watched it last year.
It good.
Holds up.
It's probably one of my favorites here. I just the fact that Rain Man beat it by, not a huge margin, but 20 million roughly.
But you got to understand, Rain Man was the first time someone had actually put like an autistic person on film, which I think is what Dustin Hoffman's character is. He's like what they called an idiot savant, like somebody who was not good at anything else, but really smart about a few things. And
no, I get why it was well received, and I believe it won the Oscar.
Tom Cruise is such a hunk,
It won. I think it won an Oscar that year as well. But I just it was a popular. I remember people talking about it a lot. So, but anyways, Coming to America, good movie. Crocodile Dundee 2, Twins. We've talked about that movie in our Arnold Schwarzenegger episode.
Yes.
They're making a sequel to that, by the way.
Yep, apparently. They've been for a while. Yeah. Who's the triplet? Who's the third person?
It's a guy from SNL, or something. But oh God, what's his name? It's like out of nowhere too. It's like he doesn't even look like he's like relates to them.
Jesus. Oh,
he's black.
Yeah. I can't remember who it is now, but yeah, they were just going to include it. He was going to be the third brother of this. Yeah. Oh, I can't remember. Not Michael J. No, I can't remember.
I'll look it up. Rambo 3 was number 6. A Fish Called Wanda. Cocktail. Big.
Cocktail. Oh my God.
I actually watched Cocktail a lot as a kid because it was like one of those movies. Like, are you talking about the movie Hot Dog? It's like I had this in VHS, and I don't think this had like a ton of nudity, but like it had like adult themes,
side boob, the equivalent of side boob.
Yeah,
there was enough of that.
Big.
A movie about a guy who serves drinks, and then he falls in love with the lady he serves drinks to.
But then they break up because he gets too good at selling drinks.
Mm-hmm. Too good. And then his partner in selling drinks. Oh God. Stupid movie. Big is number 9 and Die Hard number 10. I'm surprised how low Die Hard is on this list, to be quite honest. Lethal Weapon and Die Hard were like 8, 9, and 10. Like they weren't huge money makers.
Yeah, no. But you can see like the changing of the guard as you go through these lists. Like you still have like these like dramatic movies that have no special effects. Like,
yep,
not that like Rain Man, for example. But then you see a lot of these action movies starting to push those like Oscar winners out of the theaters. Right?
What's making the most money? Big muscles, big guns. Yep. But also 1988 is a very key Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. You could say the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, and that's Bloodsport, which you haven't watched yet.
It's a great movie. I know only from you. It's an awesome movie.
Indeed, it is. Maybe someday you'll be able to say something more about it, but it's a fun movie.
I'll watch it. Is that your favorite? Is that your answer?
No. It's like, I would say it's my runner-up, but My Neighbor Totoro is my favorite one from this year.
See, you're throwing the Miyazaki. That's not fair. I was trying to avoid those. I was trying to avoid those.
If I'm gonna go two directions, the straightforward from this time, from this era. Last Temptation of Christ is probably my favorite one. It's a Martin Scorsese film.
Okay.
Stars Willem Dafoe as Jesus and Harvey Keitel as Judas. And it like presupposes like what would happen if Jesus was successfully tempted by the devil and doesn't get crucified and gets to go and live his life.
I don't remember this being made at all.
It's crazy, and Peter Gabriel does the music for it. All this like world music sounds. It's interesting. It's based on a book. It was like banned in how many countries and all sorts of shit, but it's actually a really good, decent movie.
See, my favorite movie about Jesus Christ is Jesus Christ Superstar, but that's just me.
The movie version of
yes,
it. Yes,
the movie version. I watched that actually. That was a good movie.
But I mean, Beetlejuice came out this year too. That's a fun movie.
That's my favorite.
Akira's also this year too, but we wouldn't see it until way later.
Akira was it? I didn't see that on the list. I must have missed that one.
Yeah, 1988.
Oh, that's tough.
And that's, I mean, you're thinking, what a seminal year for animation with Who Framed Roger Rabbit and Akira and My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah, like, I mean, I would say if I was to pick, like, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is definitely up there for me as a favorite, but, like I used to watch that movie a lot, but you saying Akira completely throws me off.
It's like they don't even belong in the same conversation.
No, they don't because they weren't really released in
different movies.
Yeah, they weren't released in theaters, and to us United Americans,
no,
we didn't know what Akira was in the 80s.
We have to keep it in favorite anime film.
Yeah.
So if you want to hear us talk more about that, you can check out that episode from our first season, I believe we did.
Yeah, I probably would have to say Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Beetlejuice is good. I mean, it was freaking awesomely made.
Yes.
But I mean, Who Framed Roger Rabbit is such a great movie. Like, as far as all the actors involved, the whole crazy universe they created. Yes. And, like, you know, they could have, like, well, you could have done other movies that were, like, that did that art animation style, like Cool World, right? Like, that was not...
Yeah, with Brad Pitt there. Yeah. That didn't work out at all. I mean, Bob Hoskins, who's this, like, hard-boiled, you know, deep voice, gravelly voice, you know, detective cop, like, makes it work somehow. He's even because he's so authentic and good in that role. And Christopher Lambert as the villain, right? Is that it?
No, that's Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd. I don't know. Sorry, I'm calling him Lambert. Christopher Lloyd. Yes. Yeah, that movie gave me the heebie-jeebies too, in parts. Especially him, Christopher Lloyd, at the end when he starts to reveal himself. He's like, "When I killed your brother, I talked just like this." Oh,
you've lost your voice when you said that too. I couldn't even hear you.
I did. I couldn't because I was having a nightmare.
I'm gonna give it to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. I almost gonna say Beetlejuice, but
give it to them.
Yeah. But I mean, I loved Big though. I watched that a lot. I was a fan of that, and of course, coming to America is just a awesome movie. I've never watched the sequel.
It's a great movie.
Never watched the sequel.
That's like, I'm not gonna watch the sequel. I think there was one movie, it was excellent, and that's all I needed. Yeah. I really don't need another one. I'd rather watch My Name is Dolomite if I want to watch a new Eddie Murphy movie, because that was at least good. But, all right, Justin.
We've got to the
Here
end.
we are.
Less than an hour.
We got to the last end. We spent 45 minutes on 85 and 5 minutes on the rest. But here we are, 1989. Let me immediately disqualify Kiki's Delivery Service.
Oh my God.
It's a good movie, and it came out this year.
Were you going to put that as your favorite?
No, it's not my favorite. But there's a lot of... I mean, this is a year when you start to see like a lot of really, really cool, but also like sophisticated effects. Yep. So, do you want to do the rundown of the top 10? Or are we going?
Sure, I can do it. So number 1, I got Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Number 2,
a movie with traps and puzzles to solve.
Yeah, I mentioned this earlier. I said we were going to talk about it later. Number 2, Batman 89, as people call it. Right. Back to the Future Part 2. Number 3, Look Who's Talking. Number 4. 5.
That's the John Travolta movie with the baby who talks.
Yes,
and he talks in the baby's voice.
Yes, and I remember my family loved that movie. We watched it all the time.
Of course. Look Who's Talking Too. Look Who's Talking Now. Yeah, those were the three. I'm sure there's a fourth one.
Well, I think Now was the pets. I don't think they talked after that. I think they were done talking.
Now was the pets.
Number 5 is Dead Poets Society, which for me, I was like, okay, I wanted to stop there. I rolled over this because I'm just like, wait a minute, is that movie where they're like robbing banks? Like, no, that's like a 90s. That's like a way later movie.
Isn't it? You're talking about Dead Presidents. Oh, that's a good movie.
Yeah,
but it is not Dead Poets Society. Oh my gosh, that's good.
I didn't even see. I had never seen either of these movies. That's the problem. That's the funny part.
I wish Dead Presidents was like mashed up with this movie. Like somehow you mix the two of them. Dead President Society. Oh my god, it would be so good. Such a contrast of things. It's like the most like hoity-toity of boarding schools, and then this group of African American bank robbers. Like two things so jarring.
I'm like, oh, I'll roll over to look at the cover art. I'm like, oh, this is not that movie at all.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. So where are we? We got the Dead Poets.
That's number 5. Lethal Weapon 2 is number 6. Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, which for some reason somehow I missed that in this year on my list. Ghostbusters 2, The Little Mermaid, and Born on the 4th of July. I don't know what the hell that is.
That's a good movie. I will vouch for that. I actually have it listed down. It's a Tom Cruise movie. He plays a Vietnam vet who comes home after the war to people spitting in his face, and he comes back crippled. Like I think he's lost a leg or lost both legs. I remember it being a very good movie. It's been a while since I've seen it, but it was an Oliver Stone movie. If that means anything.
Gotcha.
So what did you have? What was your favorite of this, or any notable ones?
Well, I want to throw out notable ones to throw out in this year. Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Yep, that's this year.
I really want to throw out. I love this movie, The Burbs, with Tom Hanks and Carrie Fisher. I love this movie. It's been a while since
I've seen that one. Yeah, that was a good one.
I just love thinking like that's like Carrie Fisher. My favorite Carrie Fisher movie that's not Star Wars. Like.
She plays just like a regular role. It's so weird seeing her just being like, I'm the wife of Tom Hanks in this movie.
And I love the box art. It's like him just like holding a bone, just like really confused. Like
The Neighbors.
Oh man, it's such a good movie. So All Dogs Go to Heaven, that came out that year. The Wizard, which is a very important film to us Nintendo fans.
Wizard. Yes.
No, not the pinball wizard.
Well, that's where the movie comes from, or the song comes from.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the video game movie, The Wizard.
Yes.
Where we got to see Mario 3 for the first time. And then also Jason Takes Manhattan. We got to just give a little.
This is it year? Oh my gosh. Yeah. Well, you only like it because of the Dead Meat show now, because that's
Jason Takes Manhattan is my favorite Jason movie.
Oh, that's right. It was your favorite.
Yeah, I love Jason Takes Manhattan.
Jason Takes Downtown British Columbia.
The Dead Meat guy did not like this one as much, and I'm like, oh come on, it's so ridiculously stupid. It's great. He walks.
I think that was part of the reason why I didn't like it so much.
We talked about this in our holiday special. I know it's like we're kind of like reverting back to old episodes a lot, but like we talked about our Halloween special. We talked about this movie last year.
Yes.
But no, my favorite's between two movies, and I don't know. I kind of got to give it to Batman, I think.
Really? Okay.
I don't know other movie to bring it. It's either that or Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade. Those are the two between. But
Raiders of the Lost Ark was like my favorite. I think it's my favorite now, but for the longest time, Last Crusade was my favorite because it was a really, really fun movie.
The traps.
The traps? Oh yes, the traps. When you were saying that before, I wanted to start mumbling. Only the penitent man shall pass. Penitent man.
Honestly, I love Michael Keaton. Michael Keaton's always been my favorite Batman for the longest time. I really don't think anyone's ever topped Michael Keaton in my mind.
Sure.
As far as Batman movies, I like this one way more than Batman Returns.
Okay.
So
fair.
I really, really liked that Batman movie a lot. And I there's nothing that really I can see here that really. Oh, I didn't mention Back to the Future Part 2. That was on the list of things. I mean, great film as well, but I love the original Batman film. It's great. I don't know how.
The first one's pretty classic,
Yeah,
and seeing Gotham for the first time like that in film, pretty cool.
I thought Jack Nicholson does a great job as Joker. Like
He does,
I think it was good. I think it was great.
yeah, he does. He definitely, it's his own thing, and it's definitely more of like the classic Joker, more just like actually trying to be funny and make a point, and I don't know, but it is a good movie. It's been a long time since I've seen just the original
I
Batman.
think I watched it maybe like 4 years ago, and like I remember like it hit me way even better than when I was a kid. I think I watched this I mostly watched this movie a lot as a kid.
That's what I think. It's been a long time, so I wonder. I think I might try and watch it again.
And you got Billy D. Williams as the mayor. I wish they would have continued that and make him Two Face.
I know.
I'd love to see him as a Two Face.
That would have been actually like an interesting, angle to take with that series. But it would have been really before its time. Like they weren't doing anything like that back then.
Yeah.
I will say there's a couple I'd like to shout out as well. Spike Lee's "Do the Right Thing," which is a really compelling movie about race, and it takes place on like the hottest day of the year in Hell's Kitchen, New York. Um, and what else? Uncle Buck with John Candy.
Okay.
This was like I thought it was such a fun movie as a kid. I loved it. Would be on cable all the time, so I just loved, wherever it was in the story, just stopping and watching it. It's actually a really good movie. I think it holds up, Uncle Buck. I think it's worth a revisit if it's been a while for you. Major League as well, the baseball movie with Charlie Sheen. First
I
one's
missed
great.
that one. First one is good.
A lot of the same kind of like very similar to Mel Brooks kind of humor. And some of it, some slapsticky, just fun things.
I feel like I always liked the second one more because I had like more access to the second one, so I watched that one more often.
Me too. That was my introduction to the series. Was the second one?
But the first one is a lot. Is really just looking back. It's like they just redid all the jokes from one and just redid them in two.
Really? Yeah, and they like just turned them up a little bit, and it's like, okay, this is the same thing.
Yeah.
And UHF, the Weird Al movie, is a fun movie. It's got Michael Richards and a bunch of other notable people that are super young. Bobcat Goldthwait. It's a fun movie. That's one I feel like I think we should. If we were going to do a bonus episode again, I would be recommending us watching that because it's.
No clue.
I think it would be up our alley, but like not a lot of people have seen it, or it's been a long time since people have seen it. But my true favorite from this year, and it's a movie I still consider like one of the coolest and visually stunning movies, is The Abyss with Ed Harris.
That is a good movie. I've seen that a few times.
Spielberg movie, I think.
Yes,
I think it's Spielberg.
It's Spielberg.
Yeah. It's great.
I
saw that the first time I saw that movie was at my friend's a friend of ours house on the first like really like big screen TV in somebody's home, and like he had the speakers, he had this like amazing setup, so it was like seeing it in theater.
It was James Cameron.
Okay, that makes more sense. Not Spielberg. But it was beautiful looking and sounding.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is a movie, if they brought this around to theaters, I would have to go and see it. Similar to what we were talking about with Dune, like the sound effect and like the color scheme. It's a good movie. It's a nice contained story, but it has like huge ramifications for like humankind. So yeah, Justin, it's a good movie. I really like The Abyss.
No, I liked it a lot when I used to rent it. I just only watched it the one time, so I don't remember. I remember the ending was really cool with I think there was like a sort of CGI figure that shows up or something towards the end or something like that.
Yep, there's something. And there's, I don't know, just a lot of cool visual stuff happening at the end. And the music of it is really, really good too. Which is why, if I was going to ask you, Justin, I'll answer this myself, what your favorite 80s movie is, I'd have to say mine was Amadeus, still, from what we talked about in part one.
I might as well just look at the cover art of part 1, because my answer is still...
Seriously. There you go. You have, Vader pointing his lightsaber at Luke, toying with him at the end of Empire. And then, the stylized version of Salieri, in Amadeus.
The second half of the 80s definitely is more nostalgia. I don't know what I would pick in the second half as my favorite. Oh, maybe it was... I don't even know what I would pick, to be quick. Maybe Spaceballs.
Oh, that's a good choice.
Yeah, probably Spaceballs. One thing I wanted to just throw this out, because I was going to mention it, and the only reason I want to is we've had conversations about this movie and our fear of this movie. It came out in 1985. Is Return to Oz.
Oh my God, that's right. Yes, I saw it in the list. Oh, instantly sent chills up my spine. Dude, that movie. Dude, can we do that? Can we devote an episode to Return to Oz? We're going to force people to watch this movie.
We're going to watch both? We're going to watch Return to Oz and then Return to Oz?
No, just Return to Oz. Just Return to Oz. We will just watch that. And we'll basically tell people what the movie's about and how crazy it is. We'll just say what's happening. Because people wouldn't believe the kind of crap that...
The 80s was a weird time. They made some really weird movies, I have to say.
And why were they showing that on TV? Who were they trying to scar? It's like you kids watching daytime television on a Saturday or Sunday. Here you go. Here's this thing that'll fuck you up.
Come on. They made a bunch of really horrible children's movies. Even the 90s didn't get any better. They had that Witches movie where they transformed all the people into mice. Remember that movie, Witches? Did you really watch that?
No.
Oh my God!
Are you talking about Hocus Pocus?
No. It's just called Witches. They remade it for HBO Max. But
no.
We're off this episode. I'm going to show you the transformation of the mice of the movie Witches. It scared the crap out of me.
This link.
It scared the crap out of me.
It's getting late here and it's dark.
But honestly, as a kid, it wasn't that bad. Anyways, we've been talking for quite a while about the 80s movies, but we're done now. It's over. It's over with. We're done with the 80s.
Our first series of this season, our first episodes were a duology. We did it.
No. Now we have to talk about what our next episode's going to be. I had to look it up before we got to the end.
Oh, thank goodness, because I have no idea as you say that. I was like, oh, crap. Desperately looking in our Discord.
So now that we're done with the 80s, let us know what your favorite 80s movie is. You can go to our Twitter to let us know that. You can, I don't know, just try to find our phone number and call us. I don't know how that would work, but just let us know somehow. Just tell us. Comment on our YouTube channel. That's a good idea.
There you go.
But our next episode of Playing Favorites is going to be favorite video game remake.
Oh, yes. That's right. Lots of remakes in the last couple of years. A lot of things to talk about.
That's what video games is doing now. They're doing what all the other media have done. Let's remake other things.
Oh, my God. They're turning like film did,
But I gotta say, video game remakes have a uniqueness than a movie does. It's not because you can play it differently.
They can make the experience much more enjoyable.
Yeah. A movie is just a better maybe way of telling it, but it's still, you're sitting there and watching it, right? It's not...
How was the, Shenmue remake? I was playing that.
Well, that's more of a remaster. That was a remaster.
Remaster.
We'll have to talk about the differences.
Shenmue 3?
I haven't played it.
Started.
I haven't played it yet.
Oh. I thought you did.
No, I never finished 2.
Oh, that's right. You were still working through 2.
Yeah.
But the button schemes, even little things to make that game work, were fine-tuned. In the Dreamcast, it was okay. But playing the remaster...
The remaster, they fixed
it. A little bit cleaner.
But remakes are different than remasters. So we'll have to talk about that a little bit more next week.
We'll clarify our terms.
There is a very fine definition of what a remake is versus... Which just enhance it.
Would remaster. Yeah, it's not a graphics enhancement.
Yeah. But that's our next episode. I hope you've liked this episode. If you did, like I said, give us a like on the YouTube channel. Give us a comment, subscribe, all that lovely stuff. Follow us on Twitter. We're on Facebook if you do that kind of thing. And we are on podcast services, so subscribe to that. So just any possible way you can support our channel, that'd be awesome. It just gets more people to watch it.
We appreciate it.
Yep. Thank you for your time today. It's been a pleasure. And next time, we will talk to you. But in the meantime, my name is Justin. I'm messing up this outro. You take it over, Paul.
It was very businesslike. It was like we were leaving a meeting. I was like, thank you for coming. We'll be in touch in about 2 weeks.
I know.
And we'll come back with more playing favorites. But anyway, this was fun. A nice start to this season. I'm looking forward to more. I'm Paul.
I'm Justin.
Talk to you later.